Hey guys, Ironfire here, and welcome to episode 6 of my Redstone tutorials. Today, everybody, is a sad day. Someone defaced me. Okay, anyway, into the video. Today's episode is on basic commands, and don't worry, we're going to be fixing all 3 of these monstrosities. But first, I'm going to cover some other commands. So, first up on the list is, just a little side note, I do not plan on covering all of the commands. There are plenty of videos who do that a lot better than I will, but I do believe I can cover the basics of commands fairly well, and I believe you guys deserve a nice, simple explanation rather than the in-depth talks that everybody else does. So the first command I'm going to cover is a very simple one that everybody should know. Help. Yep. It's just as simple as that. If you tell the computer you need help, it will give it. These are various other commands that you can use. Now, I'm not really going to be using any of these other than clone here. Out of these first ones that show up, these are sort of not as useful. I actually highly suggest goofing around with many different ones of these. Like, for example, difficulty, not extremely useful, but if we do easy, it changes the difficulty to easy. And if we go into the menu, it's easy now, which it was peaceful before. But you can just do that through the pause menu. Why would you want a command for it? Well, you can put these inside a command block and have a redstone signal set it off. So while people are going through a adventure map, they don't have to constantly be going into their menu to change the game mode when you say, this room you need to be in peaceful, and this room you need to be in easy mode because I need to spawn in some monsters. So just keep that in mind when you're making adventure maps, if that's what you like to do. So the first command we're going to cover today, the first real command we're going to cover today, is effect. So with any command, you can use the tab key to instantly fill in any extra letters here or there, or to tell you all the different things you can type. The second thing in pretty much every command is what player you're doing this to. So if I hit tab, since I'm the only person in this game right now, it'll automatically fill my name. A neat trick for if you're doing this generically is if you do @A, it will do all players online. And if you do @P, it will do the nearest player to wherever the command is. If you're just typing it in this little box right here, that will always be you. So I'm going to use @P because it's a lot easier, and we didn't fill in enough for the command to go off. Fun thing about commands is, if you don't finish the command enough for it to do something, it will always give you this little tiny red message to tell you what each of the little boxes are. So we have effect and who we're doing it to, but we haven't told it to do anything. So let's be nice and simple and say speed. Back in, I think 1.7 was when they changed this. So back in 1.6, we used to actually do numbers. I think speed was 17. It was really annoying. I had a whole chart next to me ready to go for when I needed it. Next is seconds. Oh yeah, this one you can also use tab. When you use tab, it'll require you to do this, because whenever a mod or something is doing something, a mod might have a effect also titled speed, but it does something vastly different. So you'd have like X mod speed, and it would be different from Minecraft speed. So just keep that in mind. If you're playing without any mods, you won't need to enter in this Minecraft. But if you hit tab, it will show all the different effects, which I actually suggest for you to do some of these on your own. Alright, the next thing we're filling in is seconds. Let's give us 2 minutes. And anybody who can do math can figure out that that's 2 minutes. Amplifier. If we just hit enter right now, it'll automatically fill this in as 1. Actually, if I hit enter right now, it'll automatically fill in this, and this, and this, which is really cool. It'll automatically give me 30 seconds, 1 amplifier, and false for hiding the particles. And I'll show you what that means in a bit. We're just going to start out by doing 2 minutes. The amplifier is 5. So as you can see, the screen vastly changed, and now I'm sprinting back and forth a lot quicker than I normally would. The max speed you can give a player is 255. This is the same for all commands. Now, I don't suggest doing this because it's impossible to control. I am just tapping the key and absolutely flying across the room. And actually, if you give somebody something like jump boost 255, they get such a heavy jump boost that they actually lack the ability to jump. Yeah, but that is a neat thing for adventure maps. If you want to make it to where the player can't jump anymore, just give them jump boost 255. They won't be able to do it. Now, we probably don't want 255 speed for the entire game, so we're going to do effect @p clear. This will get rid of every effect that I have on me at the moment, good or bad. So that's a nice thing to know. You won't have to wait for it to run out, especially if you do the max time for something. So I'm going to give myself speed again. Let's do, that is the max number. That is 1 million seconds. That is the longest you can have an effect going. Now you can use a redstone clock and what's called a command block to constantly just give them a new effect over and over again. But it's a lot easier to just do it one time with a really long clock. And we'll just do 1, and then we'll type false here. This will clear out the particles. You saw those little swirly bits earlier? Wait. I typed false again. What I typed earlier, for those who are curious, I put the L first. Okay. So I'll have to clear it now, because it's not wanting to stack. False. Alright, we were having minor technical difficulties. What it's supposed to do is, see these little swirly things here? They're not supposed to show up when I type false. I think I might be missing a few steps. Yeah. Let's try. They might. Yeah. I am not 100% sure what changed, but something did change. But, I'm typing false for particles. I'm telling it to not hide the particles. Congratulations, me. I have officially made a fool of myself on the internet. Alright, let's get back into the video. I've completely derailed myself. Next one, game rule. This is a pretty simple one. Say keep inventory. That is my favorite one. By default, it's false, but if you change it to true, the neat thing that happens is, say I take my precious jungle leaves and a very valuable iron block, and I type the command kill, which instantly kills the person who types it. I really don't know why they need this, but I'm dead now. You notice that I keep all of my objects. Now, if I were to change this to false, the default, and then type kill, you would notice that I drop all of my items on the ground and have to go and pick them up. When you're playing in a creative world, you're supposed to have infinite resources. You can guess that your inventory will get quite cluttered, and having to go pick all your items back up and reorganize them every single time gets a little bit annoying. So, we'll change that back to true. As you can guess, there are a lot of these little tricks. All of these are a simple true or false. Like do entity drops. If you're in survival mode and you break an object, it will drop an item. Pretty simple. Say I were to grab a pickaxe and mine at this iron, I would get an iron block. If do tile drops, I was doing the wrong one. If do tile drops is set to false, well, you won't get anything when you break the block. Nothing will come out because there are no tile drops. Entity drops is the same thing, but instead, if I kill a, let's say, chicken, I won't get any feathers or raw chicken. It'll just die and be gone. You can basically just experiment with these. You won't break it, except for random tick speed. That one you might break something, but just remember, to fix it, it is as simple as typing gamerule random tick speed 3. Do not change this number too big or you will likely crash your game. Just saying, that one is the only one on the list you should be a little bit careful about. The other ones are completely harmless. Alright, finally we're getting into my favorite command. I bet that these have been annoying you the entire video. Well, let's clean up a bit. First is what's called the fill command, just as it is basically. We have this huge cluster of all different blocks, and we don't want it to be a huge cluster of different blocks. Let's make it a cube of leaves. We type fill, and then the coordinates. Now, if you don't know what coordinates are, since you're new to the game, if you hit F3, this little debug menu will show up. And these X, Y, Z things right here are the coordinates. Wherever they are showing the coordinates of where you're standing. The X is, I'm trying to remember, hold up. X is east to west, and that is the first one. And then that makes Z, the last one, north to south. And Y, the middle one, is how high you are. So if I jump, you'll notice that I'm going from 4 to 5. And if I fly up, you'll notice I went from 4 to almost 12. So just keep that in mind. That little looking at tab that pops up when I'm facing towards a block shows what block I'm looking at. Neat thing about commands is when they ask for a X and Y and Z coordinate, you can simply hit tab and it will fill in the location that you are looking at. Now, fill asks for 2 X, Y, and Z coordinates. So let's just put the exact same ones in. And we said we wanted to make a cube of leaves, so leaves. And because I hit tab, it automatically put this Minecraft thing in for the same reason as earlier. If I had something like xmod and it added, its own type of leave, then I would type xmod : leaves to get that object. Well, we only have one leaf here. We want to get rid of the whole structure? Well, to do that, we're going to want to go back here and do fill here, here, and here. And then we just want to leave the menu, which is weird. Then we want to reopen it, hit up to pull up our previous command, and hit tab, tab, tab again. We have now told the computer the two corners of the area we would like to fill. And we want to fill that with leaves, correct? Yes. Beautiful giant bush that will now begin to decay because there is no wood. Wonderful. So, yeah, quick little thing about leaves. If there's no logs nearby, they'll just start decaying instantly and dropping apples. So, keep that in mind. Next, we have this wonderful creeper face made out of the incorrect block. Let's fix that. But we don't want to get rid of the creeper face, so... oh, geez, this is going to be a lot to type. Fill, here, here, here. I hit the tab to point at that ground block I'm looking at. Now I go to the exact opposite corner and do the same thing. And let's say we want it to be wool. Yeah, that's an easy one. Now let's backspace that for a second. Let's look at this. Block, data value, old block handling, data tag. What does all this mean? Well, the simple thing is, if I type wool, wool has multiple colors. We all know that. As you can clearly see over here, wool has many vibrant colors that are defacing my face. If I were to type wool 3, for example, I would get a different color. If I were to type wool 0, I know I will get white wool. I don't have many of the numbers memorized, so I just sort of guess. Let's say 3 is green. That's a fun color for creepers. I probably should have pre-chosen the color I was going to make this, so I apologize for that. Now that we have the block and data value, we need to figure out the old block handling. Well, that is the old block in the fill. No, wait. Yeah, I'm messing up. This naming is weird. What it wants you to type is something like replace or break. Those are two things you can fill in there. I'll even hit tab. Destroy, hollow, keep, outline, and replace. So the hollow, the outline, will simply do the outside of it. The hollow will simply do the inside of it. So, a little weird. Keep will make it to where I fill in all of the areas except for the blocks that are already there. And replace will fill in all the blocks that are what's already there. Destroy will actually, when replacing all of these with the wool, it will actually create particle effects that shows all of these blocks breaking. So we're going to start with replace. And then we're going to type, so see this area right here? That shows what block we're going to do. So, Minecraft yellow glazed terracotta. That is a really cool name. If we hit enter, it replaces it with cyan, light blue. That's not cyan. And if I were to keep doing this with various different colors, oh, there's no yellow glazed terracotta here. We'll need to change that to wool. It will replace the color. And let's make a creeper with a think 15 will be black. Now, we'll backspace all of this and change that to 3. Now what do we want to do? We want to keep the wool. You know what? Close enough. It's a blue creeper with a black face. Close enough. Now, a neat thing about this is the second block that you type here, it doesn't matter what state you're doing. I'm not even sure you have the ability to specify, which they should add. I'll check. So we're probably going to want to fix my face. So, and then we'll say wool 15, replace wool, and we just learned that 3 is, hey, you can specify, but we want to replace all of the wool. And there, my face is all better now. Isn't that nice? So, we've cleared out this entire room, and the leaves decaying was totally planned. Now we're going to move on to the last command of the day. Boo! This one is similar to the fill command. It is called clone. You're going to want to fill in the 2 corners of what you want to copy. Ta-da! What happened? Nothing happened. Well, that's because this one requires a third X, Y, and Z put at the most negative corner of where you want to put it. So, if you pull up your F3 menu, you'll notice that your crosshair is replaced with this weird thing that's been here the whole video. I just wanted to get you guys used to it. A neat thing you should know about it is X, Y, and Z are in the same order as Roy, G, Biv. It's the name that you use to help you memorize the colors of the rainbow, by the way. So you know that the red one is pointing towards positive X. The green one is pointing towards positive Y, and the blue one is pointing towards positive Z. So, if you go to the area that they create one giant arrow towards, right here, in this case, and you tab, 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 you will create a perfect replica exactly where you want it. And there are a lot more to commands that I did not want to cover in this video. I honestly still feel like I'm pretty much a noob when it comes to commands. A lot of people say the knowledge that I've already provided is a lot more than what most people have, but it's just scratching the surface. If you guys want to learn more, I'm afraid I'm not the right person to ask. But if you want me to do more in-depth analysis, I'll try and learn myself. That's going to be all for today. If you guys want more about commands, then please tell me. If you don't, I won't be doing any more. I will continue doing regular Redstone. And one last thing, I forgot the give command. Give player at P the item, and let's give you guys the command block I was talking about earlier. The neat thing about a command block is you can actually only get it using the give command, sort of making sure you know what you're doing before you get into it, because you can very well break your game using a command block. This is what it looks like. Well, most of the time. You can actually change its color if you mess with this box. We're going to do impulse. because that one is a lot less break your game. If you do repeat and always active, and then do something like /TP, this is a relative number, so it's relative to the nearest player, to the player specified. If I were to X out of this menu right now, I would infinitely teleport one block up until this was outside of loaded chunks, making my game no longer playable. Please be careful when messing with redstone blocks. Be very, very careful. Oh yeah, I forgot at R, target one random person, and at E, target all entities. That includes monsters. So we're just going to do a simple one, say hi. And when using command blocks, at least back when I used them, I haven't done this in a long time, yeah, you don't need to do the slash like you do here. There, I just said hi back to my command block. You can use these command blocks for anything you can use the command menu for. Impulse will do it once. Chain will do it, say I were to control tab this. If I were to apply a redstone signal here, if I were to set this off, it's been a while since I messed with command blocks, but the idea is the arrow, where the arrow points, it will actually set off all of the command blocks. And if I were to do repeat and set it to always active, and apply a signal, I'm just so annoyed when things don't work out the way I was told they would. Basically what it's supposed to do, according to what I read online, is it would infinitely repeat the command. But there, again, command blocks are annoying at times. But this is the type of command block you're probably going to be using. It needs a redstone signal, and it will only do it once when given that redstone signal. Well, my name's Ironfire, and that's just about it for this video. If you want to see more commands, leave a like and a comment asking for me to explain things. If you have any ideas or anything you're curious about, please tell me in the comment section down below. I'm starting to get a little low on redstone ideas, and I feel that's where I have the most experience. So, if you have any questions about redstone, please ask them in the comment section, and maybe I'll make a user suggestion video where I explain all the things that you guys are curious about. That's all for today. Iron out.